I remember the first time I got called ugly. I feel like at a young age, the enemy has always come for my identity, but more specifically, the way I look.
Coughing up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty little scheme. Save her mind.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am having a cookie and some ice cream, treating myself to a long day of motherhood. To us, or to me. So let's really talk about all the things I've been feeling lately this week. I have not been feeling pretty. I remember the first time I got called ugly. I feel like at a young age, the enemy has always come for my identity, but more specifically, the way I look. And I think that this has really struck an insecurity even in how I show up confidently throughout the years. I'm in my 30s now, and to be honest, who gives a heck? I know I'm beautiful. But some days when I get into my little moods, I can question if I'm this pretty girl. I went on a date night with my husband on Saturday. I did my makeup and I hated it. Disclaimer, when I'm talking about pretty, I'm talking about the outward appearance because we know that beauty is not only outward, it's also inward, but I'm just talking about the external right now, okay? So stay with me. Now, mind you, it could just be my makeup technique. I just looked at myself and I just didn't feel pretty. I don't know if it's because of having a baby, postpartum. I'm not really sure. I can't pinpoint what exactly it is that has me in my feels. I remember the first time I was called ugly. The person just had to tell me that they didn't think that I was pretty. And I think that I believed it at that moment because I struggled with acne and I had a lot of insecurities. And then another incident, we had gone to like a neighborhood, close to my neighborhood, where the girls are kind of like in a beef or fighting. This was like in elementary school. I had no business being there. However, one of the girls there turns around in mid conversation while she's like going back and forth with the other girl. She's like, yo, who's that ugly girl standing there? Remember one time there was like an experience where I was dating a guy. Somehow we end up breaking up. Mind you, I was dating at a very young age. That's another story for another day. Okay? That's another story for another day. I was dating him and he broke up with me because he told me that I had pimples on my face. And so I feel like my identity when it came to beauty and outwardly appearance has always been attached to someone telling me that I am not conventionally pretty. I remember there was a time where I didn't feel like I could show up as myself. I felt like I had to mask and I felt like I had to present myself a certain way. And I'm looking back now and I'm like, no, this is because you've been told you're not beautiful and that's what you've believed. It's not that I lack confidence and it's not like I'm insecure and it's not like I show up insecure even around my friend groups, but I think that there's a part of me that's like an internal battle that constantly wonders if outwardly she's good enough. Yeah, I just been really reflecting on those seeds being planted as a child. And if you know me, you probably have heard this story so many times because I talk about it all the time because I really believe it was a pivotal moment in how God had used my best friend to show me how he saw me. You know, the enemy will target you in a specific way and use that against you throughout your whole life until God tries to shape that narrative. And so me and my best friend met in the beginning of grade 9 and I was, again, super insecure, okay? Super insecure about how I looked. Wasn't really confident how I looked. And I remember, I think I was like telling her about how I felt and just being very sad about how I felt. And she was like, I don't get it. I don't see what you're talking about. And I was like, girl, what you mean? What you mean you don't see what I'm talking about? Everybody has talked about my acne. That was a big thing growing up. Like, Nana has acne. Like, if you knew me in elementary school, you went to school with me, you knew that I struggled with acne. It's not a new thing. So the fact that she was like, girl, I don't see what you're talking about, really was interesting. She was actually one of the first people that actually called me pretty, to be honest. I don't feel like I ever heard that I was pretty from other people, even my mom. I don't think she means it in a bad way, but she always would say this thing where it's like, you didn't grow up with your beauty. You didn't grow up with your beauty. And I feel like that low key reinforces that insecurity that when I was younger, I was beautiful, but now I'm not. Those messages were being sent and those seeds were being planted, and it was taking root in me. And I didn't realize how much it was impacting me negatively. Even when it came to my social media career, I feel like showing up sometimes is hard for me because I get in my head about everything and I overthink everything. But I really believe that that overthinking comes from this insecurity of being constantly called ugly. I just want to shift the narrative a bit and say that obviously I know that beauty is not only external. Beauty is internal, yada, 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 yada. But we live in a shallow world, okay? And the first thing that you see when you see somebody is you look at their outer appearance. You can be beautiful on the outside and have an ugly heart, and you are ugly. We get it, okay? But what I am speaking to is constantly being called something and then feeding into that narrative and letting that narrative dictate your life. Because a lot of us have been spoken, God knows what, over our lives. And I think this is even beyond beauty. It could just be anything that we encounter in this life where we've been spoken to about in a negative way and we've walked our lives operating in those wounds and doing everything from those wounds because someone said something that was not edifying or did not build us up. And now we are living our lives in that way. We can live our lives operating from wounds that people have planted in us negatively. Those things walk with us. Being called ugly is very hurtful. Something I'm working through and praying through is that God would help me see myself the way He sees me daily. And I think that He's done that in pockets throughout my life. But I think that I want to like 10x it a little bit. I just want to show you guys the PR package that I got. I'm so happy. I do have a campaign that's going to be starting soon with them. And obviously, I don't want to talk about the product because it's a campaign. However, they did gift me other products. I'm going to share those ones instead because why is it not? Hey? They sent in their Brightening Glow facial pads. It's with glycolic and lactic acid, so I'm excited to see that, try them. I'm excited to, actually, I can't speak. I'm excited to try this. Oh, they sent a K-Bump body eraser body scrub. It has 10% HH. I'm excited to try this. I've been in my body care bag, so I'm really excited to try this and see how it works. They also sent in the Ultra Gentle Cream to Foam Facial Cleanser. It has Kaleido Oats and glycerin in there. Thank you, First Aid Beauty, for the rest of these gifted products. Baby's gonna wake up in like the next 3 hours, so I want to at least get some Z's in before she wakes up.
If you haven't tried heatless curlers to maintain your silk press, use free shipping. I got my hair done a week ago now, and the fact that soften up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty little scheme. Save her mind.
Good morning. We just took out our Kernelons, Kernelons. I am using these eye patches from Omi Lab. Let's say, you know, I'm not really an eye patch type of girl. To be honest, this is how it looks. But why not? Oh, it's very slippery. Like, which way do they go? Do they go this way? Anyways. Oh God, struggling. Okay, we got it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The hair is looking good. I actually dropped off my daughter first, and now I'm gonna do my skincare because those morning runs to summer camp is not a joke. I think that we live in a world where we're always changing things about ourselves, and I don't even think there's anything wrong. If you don't like something and you're really insecure about it, and you want to change it and you've prayed about it and you have the conviction to go ahead and do so, paint the town red. I had a breast reduction because my boobs were really big and I did it. I did it and I don't regret it. I'm using the Brightening Glow pads from First Aid Beauty. I think that we live in a world where, because we have so much access and overconsumption of what people are doing, we constantly find ourselves not feeling like we meet the standard of beauty. I just wanted to end off the video and say this. Beauty is skin deep. And yes, external beauty is important because that's the first thing we see when we see somebody. But I don't want to live my life based on always feeling like I need to show up in this world to prove myself to somebody. I've been told enough times in my childhood how ugly I was. And I refuse to allow that to be the definition of who I am. And we see it all over social media, the beauty maxing, the Botox, the fillers, all the extra stuff to zhuzh up ourselves. And I don't even think there's anything wrong with it personally, but I think that it's really important that we don't let those things define us, because at the end of the day, we're not taking this body with us. At the end of the day, one day this body's going to the ground and we can't take our beauty with us. So how do we show up in the world that is so vain? How do we show up in the world that constantly pushes a certain standard of beauty? The Bible talks about adorning ourselves with external jewels and things. The Lord looks at the heart, not the outer appearance. A lot of pretty girls are depressed. A lot of pretty girls are dealing with a lot of things. I think it's important that we remind ourselves that beauty is not just external. Beauty is internal. Beauty is the heart, and beauty is character. How we show up in the world matters. How we choose to show up every single day matters. I want to be the type of person that knows that regardless of how I show up in the world, regardless of how I look, I am myself. And I think that's what matters the most, is that we let everybody else define who we are instead of us seeing how God sees us seeing how much we have so much impact in this world. I don't think I'm ugly. I have felt ugly. And I think that I was called ugly. And there was a point in my life that I did feel like I was ugly. But I'm choosing not to allow that to define me, because I know that I am more than just my physical appearance. I still do care about my physical appearance. I think those things matter. I think there's a balance. Like, take care of yourself, girl, but also don't let your soul rot. I'm going to end the video here, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was impactful. I hope that it was helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Like always, don't forget to shine your light while honoring the process. And bye.